Oye, pero loco. So, I have another conversation for you guys. I was just thinking about how today we don't value a lot. Like, as far as my generation, I am like one of the last of the 80s babies. Actually, I am the last of the 80s babies. I was born in March 1989. So, the 80s babies, yes, we were raised in the 90s, but we're like the older generation now. So, I was just looking at State of the Culture online about how we have a lot of, I think they called it the cancel something. I can't remember. But basically, it's saying that we post what we're going to do. Like, we don't necessarily go through everything or try to fix whatever. Everything we do is a post. Everything we say is a tweet. Everything we do is basically around social media. And what I've come to realize is that a lot of us are out of touch with reality. We are so driven by social media that we don't necessarily, I want to say, we don't necessarily think too much of the reality. We're always on our phone, we're always on devices, we're always, you know, tweeting, taking pictures, taking videos, doing a whole bunch of stuff. But how much time do you really spend without your device? How much time is it that you're on your phone or on your device? So things that we used to do when we was younger, we don't do anymore. Like simple as, when's the last time you seen kids outside in the neighborhood playing basketball on the street, or jumping double dutch, or playing rope on the street? Sorry. Or, you see little kids on the neighborhood, like if it's a hot summer day, they open up the fire hydrant, everybody's just bugging out. Like, or families have barbecues or have reunions, like things like that. Like, when's the last time, like, you've really seen that? And I'm trying to think, like, the last time that I've seen those things, and it's been like a couple years. I could really say that after I graduated high school, that I haven't seen much of that. And I'm only speaking because I see my siblings, the my siblings underneath me, they don't really go outside and play that much. They don't really have like a social interaction. Besides going to school, they don't really like socialize with other kids their age or whatever the case may be. They're mostly 90% of the time, if they're home, they're on a device. They're on a phone, they're on an iPad, they're on a MacBook, they're on a Chromebook, they're on whatever type of device, and that's how they get the entertainment. They could sit in front of a screen 24/7, and if you don't bother them, they're not going to budge. They won't eat, they won't sleep, they won't drink. They won't do anything without a device, which is bad. So, and I noticed that adults are starting to be that way too, because I noticed with some of the adults that are around me, they might not be on a device 24/7, but when they do have downtime, they are on a device, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. They're just basically on their phone. Like, everything is on the phone. And I did a recent experiment on myself these past 2 days, where I said, you know what, let me see if I can go without a device for just 2 days. And initially, I did a solid 12 hours not touching my phone, not touching my Apple Watch, and not indulging. I did have a device on, which is what's on right now, is the TV, but I really wasn't paying attention to the TV. I mostly took the time to like do little things around the house, clean up, stuff like that, without a device for 12 hours. But then when I noticed when I did pick up my phone and just simply being on the app, being on Instagram, I said, all right, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes. 5 minutes turned into 2.5 hours on Instagram. And all I was doing was just scrolling and liking, scrolling and liking. That's it. Facebook, I must have spent like maybe 10 minutes on Facebook. I barely go on Twitter. I barely go on Snapchat. So my vice is Instagram. So whoever I don't see physically, like my close friends who I don't see physically, they're always posting on Instagram. Always. So that's my way of seeing them if I don't see them physically. So we really have to change the narrative of how we socialize because a lot of us are out of touch with reality, and that's a bad thing. So even you could even talk about something so simple as dating. Like I could really say the last maybe 3 or 4 guys that were interested in me all saw me through social media first before seeing me in person. They saw my social media first, Instagram first, and slid into my DMs and started talking to me through there. So it's not like I was out in the street and they saw me. It was literally through social media. Which not saying, that's not a bad thing because, that's the new thing now. So instead of regular dating, there's a lot of online dating. There's a lot of, oh, you never know, your next love of your life could be sliding your DMs or whatever the case may be. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but where's the physical contact? Like, where's the I meet you, I see you, we exchange phone numbers, we speak through the phone, or we text through the phone, we set up a date, we go on a date, we court each other for however long, and then start a relationship. It's not like that anymore. It's like you slide in my DMs, we exchange phone numbers or whatever back and forth. We may talk 2 or 3 days, and then after I realize that I don't like you no more, I just block and delete you. Like that's just basically how it is. Or you have the narrative of you slide in the DMs, you talk or whatever, y'all meet up, you barely go on a date. Then this person is either automatically talking about they want to be in a relationship or whatever the case may be. Like to me, that's just weird. Like it's just weird. Like, you don't know me. We don't know each other. We need to at least, get to know each other. Like, what happened to conversations where you talk to the person, you see if you like this person, and if you like this person, you decide whether, all right, we're going to either be friends or we're going to, build towards a relationship. It's like you just skip a whole chapter and you just go to all right, we either dealing with each other or we not. Like it's just instantaneous. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me or other people might feel that way, but I know I definitely feel that way. Like the narrative has definitely changed. Like I remember the days where I didn't have a cell phone. My first phone was a Motorola flip phone, and it only had a dial out screen. I went from that to having a chirp chirp, another Motorola where we used to, when Sprint was a thing where you had a walkie talkie. Then it went from that to a T-Mobile Sidekick, where where it flipped. Went from that to having a Nokia. Then from a Nokia, what did I have after a Nokia? Oh, I had a BlackBerry. After a BlackBerry, then I switched over to and got a iPhone. I think my first iPhone was a 5C or 4C, whatever the first color phone that came out from iPhone, and then from there it's been iPhone ever since. 6, 7, and now 8. So I don't know. I remember chatting online was like social media was a thing. Like Skolnex. Remember Skolnex? Oh my god. Skolnex was definitely high school. Then it went from Skolnex to Black Planet. Black Planet, you could design no, not Black Planet. MySpace. I'm saying Black Planet. Where the hell did that shit come from? Black Planet. But MySpace. You could design your MySpace. You could design your profile. Have music, do your background, do everything. You was in your friend's MySpace. What? You had your top five for MySpace. And your closest friends, your boo had the number one spot on MySpace. Then it went from MySpace. No, I'm lying. It started off as High Five, Skull Next, MySpace. Then after MySpace, then Facebook came into play. So it's like children these days or kids these days don't know like the level up. Like I think my generation was like the level up. We saw what it was to not be social media driven, and then now we're at the narrative where it is social media driven. It's just I don't know. I just miss those days where you be outside chilling on the block, whether you came from work, school, whatever, and you just be chilling with your friends or whatever, and we just find stuff to do. We just got into stuff. We wasn't really concerned about the phone. We wouldn't even answer the phone because it was one or three people calling. It was either your parents calling for you, telling you to come home, or it was your boo calling you, telling you whatever it is that you want to do, or if you didn't feel like talking to them, you just hang up the phone, or it was one of your friends calling you about some school gossip or whatever. But even then, you wasn't on the phone much because you went to each other's houses. You hung out with everybody. You did things like you went out and did things. It's like nowadays everybody's just so cooped up in the house, and it's like now everybody's on this thing like they want to Netflix and chill. They want to have Friendsgiving, like stuff like that, like where you're in the house, like get out the house. There's things that you could do. There's traveling that you could do. You could see the world. There's different things that you can get into. But that's just me ranting. But I see you guys in my next one. Bye.